softwares that use the same ATS algorithm, and they also show you which part of the resume you need to modify and make some changes and make it better. And also these dates and all, these are numerical values, so even this gives you a better ATS score. So this is about resume. And coming to your CGPA, so CGPAs matter to an extent, but not entirely. If it is above 7.5 and 8, it is 8 actually. Not to disappoint anyone, there are a lot of companies that come and hire for a lower CGPA as well. But on an average, most of the companies that come, they want a CGPA of above 8 at least. So um, that is one thing. uh, I think I covered most of it. Okay, yeah. Okay, any doubts about your resume? uh, I can like share you the link to my resume. You can create a copy of my resume on your Google Docs and edit it for yourself and use it also. I'll share it. I'll share it post the meet actually. Any doubts, guys? If you want star placements, does CGPA above 8 matter? To an extent, yes, it does matter. Above 7.5 and 8 is good. So you can, if you're on the borderline of 7.5, 7.2, you can put it as 8 in the Google form that the company sends, because the final semester or the eighth semester CGPA, most of you will get a good CGPA. So when you take the average, it should cross above 8 if you are on the borderline of 7.5, between 7.5 and 8. So if the company says that we want above 8 and you are on the borderline between 7.5 to 8, then you can apply for it, telling that you have a CGPA of 8. Given that you're sure about working hard during your 8th semester and getting a good CGPA, and it's easy actually. Yeah. Can I know in which company you're please? Okay. So yeah, I forgot to introduce myself. Yeah, I'm Karthik from the recent pass out batch 2023. On campus, I was placed in HPE. Uh, the package was around 17 LPA, and off campus, after getting on campus, I was trying for off campus as well. So off campus, I landed up in Azul, AZUL. Uh, that was off campus, yeah. Okay, but about 8, do the fluctuations matter that much? No. If you have a CGPA of above 8, then you're good to sit for that company. Any other doubts? Okay, assuming no doubts. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and also your LinkedIn profile, please keep your LinkedIn profiles up to date, because you might be there are many HRs who are looking out for LinkedIn profiles and trying to hire, send interview links through LinkedIn. And I got an off campus opportunity through LinkedIn itself. So you can check out my profile as well. So you need to keep the profile up to date. You need to keep the profile up to date. You can add the various links, and what is the tech stack that you work on, and you can put an about and your experience as well. What was the tech stack from when to when you worked. You can put all these details. So there are many recruiters who hire you, who send you interview links directly to your LinkedIn, through the LinkedIn platform itself. And yeah, you can put up the projects that you have done. If you have deployed it, then you can add a link to that project as well, and who are the other teammates that you worked with, you can add their profiles to this as well. Yeah, so I haven't updated my LinkedIn after I got my off campus, but yeah, you guys should be like be using it on a regular basis, so that you would be you never know where opportunity comes from. So keep your LinkedIn profile up to date, and check the LinkedIn regularly, uh, and notifications. Follow some HRs who will be posting hiring updates in their companies. So try to follow them, and it will really help you. LinkedIn is a really good platform that helps you. Okay. Moving to the next one. Okay, I think I told everything about publications. Yeah, mini project. So I think most of you are done with mini project. Then you can just draft a paper. So the guide under which you're working would also be interested in doing a publication. So they'll really help you with a few papers that they have written, and you might use those as a template and then draft a paper. So this would like add 2 to 3 lines on your resume, and sometimes the interviewers will be happy to see that you have some published work as well, because none of the others whom they would have interviewed would not have published works and accepted works, writing a paper and those kind of a things. So it's really good if you have a publication, and it's not that difficult to get a publication as well. Since I told you, if you want a publication in a better conference, then that is difficult, but just to get an acceptance from a lower level conference is not that difficult. Moving to the next one. Projects. Yeah, I think I told everything about projects as well. Internships. Yeah, internships. During your third year break also, there are most companies who will offer you internships, who offer internships for pre-final year students, and they would be happy to convert you as well. So even I got such an offer itself. I was looking out for internships, and then I got converted there itself. So there are many companies who hire pre-final year students, and they give part-time internships as well. And since we are from IT background, they give you work from home, 2 months internships, and LinkedIn is a better place for such opportunities. And there are like we have our alumni working at various companies spread across the globe. So you can like directly cold mail a few seniors or alumni who are working at some company, and you know that the company is hiring for some position that you are interested in. Then you can ask that particular alumni to refer you. You can send your resume across to that person, and then he'll be really interested, he or she will be interested to refer you, because we are in the same college. So that way also works. Search for people, search for a company that is hiring, and then search for a referral, the referral who is from the same college, who has passed out from our college itself. So they would be interested to give you a referral. So, if do you have any doubts about a referral, internship, LinkedIn, anything? Uh, okay. How many of you are following until now? A thumbs up in the comments. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. That's nice. That's nice. Okay. Okay. Got it. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Okay, moving to the next. Okay, LinkedIn is done. Okay, so coming to the interview part, what are the basic concepts asked during an interview? So you need to be strong in these three things at the base. One is data structure and algorithms. Second is object oriented programming, or OOPS, and database management systems, DBMS. So you need to be thorough in these three, and one programming language between C++ and Java. Python is also okay, but a few companies do not keep a restriction that if you're coding in Python, you're not allowed. So be careful about that. Uh, so many of the seniors or any of the others who sat for placement, they always recommend you for C++ or Java, either C++ or Java, because most of the companies that come, they have flexibility between C++ and Java, but not Python that much. Though a few companies are okay with you coding in Python. And yeah, so the first round, once your resume has been screened, and then you get the first round would be the first screening round would be efficiency, aptitude, and sometimes coding as well. So they give you so here this test your speed and timing with how fast you can solve some really tricky math questions, the small math questions, speed, time, distance related ones, or this a relationship finding, those kind of things, aptitude kind of a questions will be there during the screening round. So this round will most probably be a easy one, and most of you can clear this. But the tricky part in this round is a few, like 70% of the companies have two coding questions at the end of this aptitude round, and it will be online only. So the two coding questions, it depends. Sometimes it will be one basic or one hard question. uh, so once if you solve this, some companies want you to solve both the questions, some of them want you to solve at least one of it. So there are various requirements, and it depends on the overall performance of others who have written the screening round. So based on that also, it sometimes depends. So one bad experience during this round with me was when I was sitting for a company called Dover. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. Dover. Uh, they were hiring for a CS role as well, and there were mechanical roles as well. So I had applied for it, and during the first round, the two coding questions that they gave, they were easy actually, and they had given 20 minutes of time to solve both the questions. And since the questions were easy, I could solve both of the questions within 7 minutes, and I completed both the questions within 7 minutes. But unfortunately, my name was not shortlisted for the next round. So why this happened? I spoke to the HR. I called the HR and asked him to check my scores and all of that, and everything happened. And they suspected that I cheated during the round, which I did not do. But they told that you got the answers really quick, which was like really shocking to me. So you, like, when you submit the answers, check the timing as well. Be on an average. Uh, s- so this is one bad experience to tell, because I solved the questions myself, but still they considered it to be some scam. So there are such companies as well. So be careful while you do this. Not to scare you guys, but yeah, just be aware of things. That's it. And after once you clear the coding round, I think you're good to go to the next technical round. Yeah. So technical round, most of the technical rounds will be one technical round or sometimes two technical rounds. Most of them have two technical rounds. Once you have cleared the screening, you will have two technical rounds, 30 minutes each or 1 hour each sometimes as well. So during the technical round, they ask you mostly on OOPS, database management. And if you have applied for a networking kind of a company, then they ask you networking related question, which is a rare case actually. And if you're not that good at networking, then there is one on the net, you would find some networking related question, 40 questions or 25 questions that cover the entire syllabus of networking. So if you're prepared with that knowledge, then that knowledge is enough to crack networking related questions, because they won't go in depth with respect to networking. And coming to OOPS and database, you need to have really have a strong hold on these two, because most of your technical rounds will be based on OOPS and database management. So during the first technical round, sometimes the interviewer might give you a coding question and ask you to solve it, sharing your screen. So when you share your screen and start solving the coding problem, the interviewer will not expect you to entirely solve the question and get the output. He'll just be interested to see how you would approach the problem, and then so you need to speak whatever you're thinking in your mind. Sometimes the interviewers will throw hints during the round as well. They'll throw hints on how to move forward. You also need to have the conversation with your interviewer in a, like, it should be engaging. There should not be that much of silence and all in the interview. There is no conversation between you and the interviewer. You're just thinking out inside your brain, and you do not know whether it's correct or wrong. So it's good to like think out loud itself directly with the interviewer that you're thinking in this direction. So the interviewer will actually throw hints that you're thinking in the right way, move forward, or he will tell you that you're thinking wrong way, take another option. So that's one thing during the technical interview. And mm, then yeah, basically the interviewer will ask questions based on your previous answers. So your interview should be in the way that you drive the interview itself. So you need to answer questions in such a manner that you're not digging your own ditch. So avoid those kind of situations. So if you're clear with the answer, tell confidently that you know the answer, you know this much. If you're not sure about the answer, tell the answer and tell them that you're not sure about it directly. So this makes the interviewer feel that you're frank and you're telling correctly and how much you know. Some companies, they have a system design round as well after the first technical round. So system design, you need they give you a real world situation and you need to design the system, how it needs to work. So they, in this round, they just think how well you can design the system. So here you need to keep in mind, you need to reduce the number of transactions in order to achieve the goal. And so indirectly you're reducing the time in which this task is achieved. So one example of such kind of a problem that was asked to me during my HP interview was so there are 10 people in one team, there are 10 people in team A, team B. There are two teams and there are 10 people each, and there is one middleman between both of the teams. So you need to design a system in which a message known to the middleman needs to be passed to all of the 20 members, the same message. So how will you be designing the system? Like, how many minimum number of transactions you need to do in order to pass the message to all of the 20 in both of the teams? So this was a question basically, and we had like 30 to 35 minutes of discussion on this question itself. So you need to start from the brute force approach even though you know the final solution already, because if you directly tell the final solution, then you're you're like he will give you a new question. Instead of that, if you start from the brute force, then he will get to understand your thought process as well, which is an add-on during the system design round, because you need to build a conversation with the interviewer. This is about the system design round. Any doubts regarding the technical? And okay, is it true that tiebreakers during shortlisting are decided based on CGPA and gender biasing? No, this is false information that you got. So there are really less chances of tiebreakers and all. If you get the same scores during your first round, then everyone who have the same score will get qualified to the next round. There is no deciding shortlisting based on CGPA or gender. Is systems no, this is like very rarely system design is asked. So few companies that offer you about 20 LPA, they have the system design around. So superstar companies basically, and there are like hardly for our batch there was like around six superstar companies that came, and among that five of the companies had the system design round. and most of the below 20 LPA companies do not have the system design round, so not to worry about it much. Okay, any other doubts? Any other doubts, guys? How does the pre-final year internship interview go? Okay, so pre-final year internship interview. Okay, coming to this. So during your pre-final year, the interviewer doesn't expect much from you, because he knows that you're just a fresher and you have less experience. So during this interview, you need to show the interviewer that you're very interested in working on that the domain in which the company is working, and you know the tech stack that the company is working. At least you're familiar about what work the company does and what are the who are the customers of that particular company. So if you have a good idea on this, like try to research about the company before your interview, and have a strong grip on oops and dbms, so that should be um, okay for you to like crack the pre-final year internship. And this is like at your risk, because a pre-final year internship is most of you would not have started your placement preparations until like at least 60% to 40 to 60% would not have started, so they start in June, July. So taking a pre-final year internship and simultaneously preparing for your placements as well is kind of a kind of bit risky. So if you're sure of putting some effort and spending some time to the internship, then only consider doing an internship, or else devote the entire time to your placement preparation itself than doing an internship. What internships can we expect if we have done DSC or CP in our college? Okay. So most of the companies that hire you will actually train you for the first 1 or 2 months on whatever domain they're working, and then only they'll assign you with the work. So DSA and CP, they want to test your DSA and CP so that they'll try to understand how fast your brain works, how fast your IQ is. So that's the reason they ask DSA and CP. uh, if I think 200 lead code questions is a good starter to set for placements. But if you have not done that, it's totally okay, because placements happen till the end of March, April, and May at least. Starting from this year, full fledged, I think it will start from this month end, and it will go on till next month, Jan, Feb, and March at least. Many of them, and we are also still getting a few companies. Last week we got one company that offered 10 LPA plus. So there are companies that come. So don't like discourage yourself. So there is still a lot of time. If you start preparing now also, you will still be able to crack a star offer. If you seriously spend some time and effort, then for sure you will be able to do it. uh, any other doubts? Could you please share some resources which can be used for OOPS and DBMS? Okay, so for OOPS, actually, I used our curriculum slides. They were good enough for me, but during the like last tomorrow, if I have an interview and I want to revise my topics, then I referred Geeks for Geeks for OOPS and DBMS. Yeah, they have like 40 to 50 standard kind of questions and explanations as well. So if you try to understand those answers, do not try to buy at them, try to understand them. And hoops, sometimes hoops, they ask you to like share your screen and then show the various implementations of encapsulation, uh, the four of these things in hoops. Inheritance, and what are the different types of inheritance, and how do you put it in the code, like taking an example of something and then showing it to the interviewer that how inheritance works. And all those basics you need to be strong, so have some examples well before, and then in the interview you'll not struggle much for new examples or something. And DBMS, they give you the data, and then you need to like identify the query to extract the data. So be thorough with joins, and they're the most of the interviewers ask about joins. What are the different types of joins? What differentiates between the two types of joins? So something like that. You can expect those kind of questions in DBMS. Please talk on prep pathways for companies not hiring for web and app dev. Okay, so preparation for such companies. Okay, system design resources. I think it's based on like you need to check on Glassdoor maybe for system design experiences. So system design, there is no specific resource as such. On Glassdoor you would find some experience by people who have like written out how was their system design round, what was the question they asked, and how they try to answer it, and you can like also modify the answer according to your this thing. So the key this thing in the system design round is you need to have minimum transactions in order to achieve that goal, and minimum time should be there. That's it. So that's the key. And preparation pathways for companies not hiring for web and app dev. Yeah, so preparation is like nothing. As I told you, most of the companies that hire you even for web or app dev, they actually train you for a period of 1 month or 2 months until they give you the real project to start with. So if you're strong in oops and DBMS, then that's majorly what the companies look for. uh, and then some, at least some decent coding skills. You, if you're like so I'm targeting to answer most of the companies that lie between 8 lpa to 20 lpa. So if you want to crack some star offer between 12 lpa and 16 lpa, between this range, then a decent coding knowledge is good enough. Like at least 150 to 200 questions on lead code is a good uh, is what I meant by decent. So if you have that much knowledge, then you can easily crack a 12 to 16, 17 LPA company. And if you have some good projects, then you can put it on your resume. And also there is one thing I've missed to tell about projects. So if you're trying to put some AI/ML based project on your resume, then be sure that you know in and out of the project, because AI and ML is a vast domain. And if in case the interviewer knows about AI and ML, there is a chance that he might dig you more about AI and ML. So be a bit careful when putting up an AI and ML project on your resume. Um, it's not that you should not put a AIML project. It's good to have a AIML project on your resume. It's good to have it, but just know in and out of what you have done in the project, and be uh, sure about sure about it while you answer during the interview. Any other doubts? Okay, if you have no doubts, a thumbs up, please. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, let's move on. HR round. So once you're done with all of your technical rounds and all of the screen, the final round is the HR round. So in this round, this is the final round wherein you need to decide whether you want to join that company or not. So as I told you earlier, if you're not sure of the sitting for the if you're not sure about the company, then don't sit for the company itself. But if you are 50% that way, this way, then you can sit for the company and decide whether to go or not during the HR round. Because a few times what happens is there is very less clarity about what type of role you're offered, and what is the split up on the CTC. So all these details uh, you'll get to know only during the HR round. So at that round, you can directly tell the HR if you feel that whatever CTC they have offered is not satisfying, and you feel that you can crack a better offer, then you can reject that offer during the HR round. But if in case you do not reject the offer during the HR round and your name is shortlisted and the company sends your name to the placement cell, then it's done that you have been offered a star offer, and you cannot sit for other companies that are star companies. So you need to decide everything and anything within this HR round itself. Also, the HR during the HR round, the HR will be interested to see how long you would sustain in that organization, and you'll not be changing the organization frequently, or within the next few days you will not change the organization. So your answer should be in such a way that you're showing some interest towards the organization and you have interest in working in that organization for a longer period of time. So that should help you to crack the HR round, and it will be a normal conversation. It won't be much of technical kind of thing. They won't ask you much about technical. So they'll ask you, they'll try to check if everything that you put on your resume is accurate and things like that. And apart from that, that's it. So any doubts regarding your HR round? Okay, assuming no doubts, let's move on. Okay, I think we reached the end of the session. Okay, we finished pretty much in time. If you have any other questions, you can go.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah, Shantanu, go ahead.
These questions I have are very general
Okay,
and not exactly related that much to this topic, but I'll go ahead with them anyway.
okay.
One was when it comes to LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed people using captions with a lot of details, like when they post about an event that they've participated in. And I was
Mm-hmm.
looking at them whether about whether or not people even read through all of those captions and whether that's really necessary. Because I mean, the idea I'm getting from LinkedIn is that it's kind of like a resume for HR people to go through, and so
Mm-hmm.
putting it in bullet points seems like a more practical or more optimal option. So, any comments on that?
So, why you need a longer description during a post is the people who notice your post, they want to know in depth what you actually did in that event, or what you got exposed to, and what was your experience in that particular event. So that is the reason why there are lengthy descriptions on your LinkedIn post. So to answer your question, not everyone go through the entire post, but some of the people who might be interested to collaborate with you or hire you, they will surely go through the things in that. And yeah, if they are interested to hire you, then they'll surely go through the entire description.
Okay, okay,
But
thanks. That
try to
helps.
keep it crisp, because when they start reading your description, if they feel it interesting, they'll continue to read it. If they do not feel it interesting, then they'll leave it there itself.
Okay, understood. Thank you. And then the second question I had was when I'm learning a new skill and when I really grind at it, I put in a lot of effort. How do I
Mm.
realize when I've reached a stage where I'm actually good at it? Because the more I look at it, the more I learn. There's always more things to do in that domain. So
Okay.
when do I know that I'm, you know,
Okay. So coming to a new skill. So DSA and CP. So as I told you, if you have a decent coding skill between 150 to 200, it's good enough. But if you're doing more than that, it's still good enough, and it's always good to do more. If you really have some time to do it, then good. And skills related to some tech stack or something, you're learning some tech stack from a YouTube channel, so you're learning in that stage. So without the YouTube channel also, you should be able to do something new out of whatever you have learned. So that's when it's you've reached that threshold that you know out of this. And if you get some new problem on this domain, then you can solve it. You need to solve a few bugs that arise while you're doing something new of whatever you learned before. So if you know web development, you would have watched a few YouTube tutorials or XYZ tutorials and then learned about web dev. So now you try to create a new project project idea. You start off thinking an idea and try to implement that project on your own from scratch, and then you get a few bugs and you try to solve those bugs on yourself, and finally when the entire thing is complete, then you have created it entirely by yourself, right? So that's when you have like learned the entire skill. So you can add that. But if you have at least 30 to 40% of the knowledge on that particular skill, then it's still advised to add it on your resume. And if in case the interviewer asks you about that thing, then you can tell how much you know, to what extent you know, till where you know, and what you can do with that. So just be frank about whatever you know and how much you know.
Okay, understood. Thank you so much.
Okay, so there is one doubt in this comment section. Is system design the only kind of group discussion that happens? No, system design is different, group discussion is different. Or are there other GDs, and what topics do they generally talk about in such GDs? Okay, so group discussion, it's very few companies and below 8 LPA companies that take this group discussion round. And most of this kind group discussion rounds are for those roles like business development executive. So such kind of like where you need to speak, such kind of roles have this group discussion round, but not every company has this group discussion round, and it's really rare for a star company to have a group discussion round. And the system design is completely different from group discussion. System design is completely different and group discussion is completely different. System design is like they have a system and you need to design the system that it should work in this way. uh, did someone ask something? Okay, so still not are you clear about system design and group discussion? Okay, cool. Any other doubts? Can you repeat the name of the journal that okay, IJIRST. Okay, let me show you that also. I think I missed it. I'll share you that after the meet. What are all the skills that are mandatory apart from DSA, OOPS, etc.? Okay, so you need to have a good conversation during the interview, um, good resume, and DBMS as well. Apart from DSA, OOPS, DBMS also matters. Then I think, yeah, good problem solving skills. Like at instant, if you're stuck at something, how do you overcome that? Normal uh, conversations, basically. So one idea is like just talk to yourself in front of the mirror, converse in English. So that would improve your conversational skills as well. So your conversation with the interviewer should be engaging. There should be more of conversation during the interview, and that's how you get a clarity that okay, you have done good in the interview. If you're it's not necessary that you answer all of the questions during the interview. It's not necessary. It's okay to not answer a few questions, and it is obvious that we can't answer all of the questions in the interview. And it's just that the interviewer wants to see how well you think or how well you approach a problem. That's it. So if some companies like Silver Mine is one company, and there is one more company called Micro Labs. So such companies, they work on web development completely. App development, I haven't noticed that much, but uh, it is a kind of rare that companies hire for app developers. Like there were if I'm not wrong, there were like 7 to 8 companies that hired for app development. And web development, yeah, there were a few companies that came for web development. So if they're hiring for a web developer role, then if your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is uh, perfect, then any other new tech stack that comes above this layer is fine. If you're strong in these three, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which the curriculum itself covers, so if you're strong on these three, then you're fine to crack the interview. So because they just ask you a few basic questions on web development related to HTML and CSS and JavaScript. Yeah. Any other doubts?
Excuse me.
Yep.
Yeah, hello. Is it
Yeah.
really necessary for a person to be having a shorthand knowledge on different domains, like exploring a lot of other programming languages, including web development and app development with Java, Python, C, or having expertise in a particular one, say, for example, C++ or data structures, or just web dev or app dev? Is mandatory. Like, what do you think is the most ideal way to get a placement?
Okay. Yeah. So you, as I told you, if you're good at one programming language, then that is enough. And different programming languages like web dev, app dev, it depends on what you've used at
Sorry,
which.
sorry to interrupt you.
Hmm.
Say, for example, a company is demanding an expertise in a particular language,
Hmm.
say B, and we have our expertise in A. And what if the company like wants us to be well at B? So, like, how do we like convince the HR or the interviewer that we can adjust depending upon the requirements?
Okay. Yeah, so there is a very rare case that such situation happens. So during all of the companies that came, there was only like hardly one or two companies that restricted themselves to one programming language, or else all of the companies that come, they have a flexibility between C++, Java, C, and Python. So a few company, most of 85% of the companies have flexibility between C++, Java. 70% Python is okay. Python and C is okay. So there are few embedded roles, embedded C kind of roles. So they're very strict that they want good programmers who are good at C programming. But apart from that, if you know one programming language among Java or C++, then you can like sit for most of the companies.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, not an issue. Any other doubts? Okay, what should be the ideal approach for someone interested in networking domain? Okay, maybe I'm not the correct person to answer this, but still, yeah, I'll tell you how much ever I know. What should be the ideal approach? Okay, so if someone is interested in working on this networking domain, then you may like refer to Striver's networking sheet. He has some good questions, which are like standard questions, and I personally got exactly the same questions in the interview directly, without even a small change. And other one is you add this subject, data communications and networking. So you need to be mm, thorough in that subject if you want to get into a networking company. But this is a personal suggestion, but there is a very less chance for you to change a company, um, once you get into networking, if you want to change a company, then there are very less companies who work on the same domain, same networking domain. So it's a personal suggestion though, but if you're very strong at networking, then you can really attempt to sit for such a company. Yeah, any other doubts? Okay, so if everyone is done and doesn't have, actually, I thought there would be more questions in the Q&A, and I thought to keep most part for Q&A, but yeah, it's okay. The other day I was getting a lot of messages about the placements related doubts, so you can ask it. Yeah, not an issue. Okay, how well do we need to prepare for companies 20 LPA plus? Okay, so for 20 LPA plus, you need to really have a strong DSA and CP, really strong. So recommended is code chefs. You need to have a good rating over there, and you should have solved more questions on trees, heaps, and it covers like vast this thing, and it would really be hard to clear that. So yeah, you need to prepare a lot for it, and your oops and DBMS skills really need to be more stronger than usual ones. But mainly if you're focusing on 20 LPA plus, then your DSA skills need to be really strong. You need to know all trees, heaps, and mm, there are many actually. Yeah, you need to know everything actually. What stipend can I expect from on-campus internships and are you talking about a internship during your 8th semester or the summer internships during the 6th semester? So summer internship during this 6th semester break after the 6th, is that one? Is that the one? Yeah, so you can expect a stipend around 15 to 20,000 or even more than that. But yeah, basic would be 10, 15, 20 in that range, starting at least. For perspective. Okay, so yeah, MS students, I think I would need one more session to cover entirely about MS. Even I was planning for MS, so I did some groundwork though. But to other personal reasons, I had to quit that and sit for placements. Yeah, any suggestions? You so it depends on when you want to do your MS. If you want to do it immediately, then placements is not for you. But if you want to do MS after 2 years, then uh, try to focus on placements, get into a good company, because getting into a good company will give you a good LOR from the reputed companies as well, and that LOR would matter a lot in your MS application. You can probably after a couple of years, yeah, so after a couple of years, then you need to get into a good company for as of now at least, because LOR from your director or CEO or president, vice president will matter a lot, because and the best LOR would come from your manager as well. So LOR really matters. So getting into a good company now before doing your MS is really add on for your MS application. What will be better to go for on campus or off campus internships. Okay, so internships is a subtopic. Please do focus on placements. On campus, off campus internships. On campus, I think. So if you're focusing on campus internships for 6 semester breaks, you do not get those like you do not get more internships. But for 8th semester, during your 8th semester, you need to complete an internship, which is a 3 credit course actually. So during that time, you will get n number of internships on campus itself. But if you're trying for an on-campus internship now after your 6th semester, then it's really difficult. You need to look for off-campus itself. But to crack an internship off-campus is a bit difficult because unless and until you have a good referral from someone and there is a current hiring in that particular company, until then you won't get that opportunity. So the best people to refer you would be your alumni working in that organization. Okay. So, what about people who haven't started CP? Okay, good question. So, there is one friend of mine who started doing CP just from July first week, and he could get a 18 LPA job at IBM. So there are examples where people have done it because the placements go on until February at least, like full fledged it goes on until February at least. So you have a lot of time. So considering from now you have at least like 6 months in hand, and if you spend like daily 7 problems a day or 6 problems a day, at least in the summer break, if you can do 8 to 9 problems a day, and then once college resumes, you can do at least 2 problems a day, and weekends you can like plan to do at least 5 to 8 problems a day. So if you plan in that way, then I think you would have cleared like 150 to 200 questions easily in a gap of 3 months, and 150 to 200 on lead code is a good decent this thing to sit for a company. Also like where to start, yeah, lead code is a good platform, but hacker, if you haven't even like coded a single program, then hacker rank is the good one to start with. And then after you start solve like 30 to 40 questions on hacker rank, then you can move on to lead code. um, yeah, lead code is good enough. But don't be scared that you haven't started. It's never too late to start. You can still start now and get a good offer uh, in the end. How should one decide the domain of specialization in which they want to pursue MS? Okay, I think MS will take it up some other time because it's really huge to explain everything about MS in this session today. You can actually ping me on LinkedIn and I'll help you with that. If you guys want my LinkedIn handle. Yeah, this is my LinkedIn handle. You can ping me there. It's driver sheet enough. Okay, so basically, I didn't start with this driver sheet first. What I did was I solved topic wise questions on lead code. Few 20 to 30 on arrays, 20 to 30 on array list, and then collections. I completed the entire collection library on lead code first. And before like 1 month of placements, full-fledged placements starting up, I used the Striver SDE sheet, which had pretty good questions, and there were a few questions that I had not solved earlier. So I would not tell that it is enough, but there is one more sheet in Striver's this thing, which covers the entire collections library or the STL library in C++. It covers the entire thing. If you finish that, then yeah, it's good enough to sit for placements. Yes, a good level groundwork in DSA. Oops. And if you have really strong grip on DSA, then yeah, your chances of clearing a good offer also increases. And one thing to tell is there is one company that comes in the start of first week of August, or during the first start of placements, Shell. So people, Shell is like Shell is a company, like it's easy to clear the rounds and easy to get hired at Shell, uh, and all the processes are easy, and the package that it offers is around 12.6 lpa. So for us, at least, it was 12.6 lpa, so it would be a bit more for you guys. So what happened is, with Shell, most of the people, the entire CS and IS grads, all of them got, whoever sat for Shell got into Shell. They were hired by Shell. Like 49 people applied, 48 were hired in Shell. So since it is a star offer, they were not allowed to sit for further placements because it was a star offer. But most of them, they could actually get a better offer. But since they were already placed into Shell, they could not sit for other companies, and they had only one option to sit for superstar companies. And superstar companies, it's really hard to crack a superstar offer. But if you're really good at CP, DSA, and yeah, CP and DSA, if you're really good at that, then it's easy to clear for you guys. Highest paying companies that come to our college frequently. Okay, so for our batch, at least, it was Fitran that came. Then it was Morgan Stanley, Atlassian, and yeah, one more company is Amagi. Okay, so Amagi, the when they came to hire, they told that the total CTC was 14 LPA, and most of the people who had already got a star offer, they could not sit for that company. But once all the shortlisting was done, the CTC was told that it was 33 LPA, so it was a superstar company. So Amagi is is a superstar company. So when Amagi comes, you can apply for it, not an issue. Around what time does super and superstar companies come? Yeah, so the full-fledged placements will start around July 1st week or July 2nd week, and it will go on until November end or December. How difficult is an on-campus placement as compared? Yeah, off-campus, yeah, it's really hard because on campus, at least you will get the updates that you're selected or rejected within a few days. But off campus, what happens is you never know what has happened, and it really takes a long time to like process your applications and get to know and get your slots for the interviews. And even my off campus placement that happened, it took 4 months to like complete the entire process and start my internship actually, and the offer letter to come. But on campus, it usually happens within a week or within 2 weeks. Anything else? When you say you solved the questions, you mean you came up with the solution on your own, or did you search up the questions online and try to answer? Okay, so you can try to solve the question using the brute force solution. Sometimes, and we do not get the optimized solutions at one shot. Yeah, you need to like search up the question somewhere and get to understand the solution, how the algorithm was used, and how you try to solve the problem. So you need to remember the approach with how you solve that problem, and not always you end up getting the solution. And of course, even I ended up finding the solution somewhere and then getting it. And it don't try to look for answers immediately. Try to give it up some time, think it over, try to get the brute force at least by yourself, and then look for solutions for the optimized approach. And try to do it, try to solve the problems at two to three levels. First is brute force, second is the better optimized one, and more optimized one. And try to like remember all the three, because during the interview, when some question is asked, you need to solve all the three. During the technical interview, not during the screening round. Screening round, if you solve, it depends. Like a few platforms accept brute force solutions also. A few platforms accept only the optimized one. A few cases may fail. if you try to code it with a brute force approach. So yeah. Anything else? Okay. Yeah, so I forgot actually. We have 2023 passouts. We a few of the uh, classmates from my batchmates from our batch. So we have actually started a YouTube channel where we are posting live updates on hiring and internships off campus in our current companies, and also other companies in which our fellow MSR retains are working, and where these MSR retains can give referrals as well. So if you want to like check it out, then you can check it out as well. I'll just put the name of the channel over here. Yeah. So here you can like directly send your resume to this channel's email ID, and then you can get your resume reviewed as well. So yeah, during once you're done with your resume, get your resume reviewed by at least 2 to 3 of them, because the mistakes that you have done in your resume will not be identifiable by you. So if someone else will obviously identify what are the certain mistakes that you have done in your resume. So do get your resume reviewed by at least 2 to 3 of them before you like finalize your resume. And also have a flexible resume, like you need to so Google Docs is one place where you can modify your resume, edit your resume, and then upload it when a particular company comes. So when a company comes, research about the company, what is that they are interested about. So if you have something which you have done in that particular domain, then put that thing in your resume and upload that resume. It's not that you need to put the same resume to all the companies. You can like edit a few places and then put it if you have something that you have done, or else you can upload the other resume itself. It's not an issue. Placed in a star company of 8 LPA, then can't participate in another star company who provide. No, you cannot. You cannot participate in that company. If you have one star company, then that's it. You can only sit for superstar companies. You cannot sit for any other companies. So what I would suggest is take one company. So there are many companies that offer between 6 to 6 LPA, 7 LPA, 7.5 LPA. So take one company in that range, and then try to sit for companies that offer about 12 LPA. And then sit for 4 to 5 companies about 12 LPA. If you're not still not able to crack that crack companies with 12 to 15 LPA range, then I would suggest to sit for companies between 9 to 12 range as well. Or else to start with, then you can start from 11 or 12 itself. Because like in the beginning itself, a company called Shell will come, and it's easily crackable by anyone who even doesn't know coding as well. If you have solved like at least the basic programming questions, then you'll really be able to crack that Shell interview. It's that easy. They'll give you a basic coding question like palindromic question, or some reverse the number question, or reverse the string question. So something like some easy question they'll throw you. And the interview also, they won't ask you anything apart from what is there in your resume. Whatever is there, they'll ask you straight, and you need to answer whatever is there itself, and then you'll be good to proceed forward. Okay. Anything else? If you want to like know about you want a special particular session on particular topic, then you can like request. You can send it through Abhinav, or you can directly message me, DM me. I'm available on weekends. You can message me during weekends. I'll just provide you my contact. Yeah. So you can like contact me during weekends. I'm usually busy during the weekdays, but yeah, evenings also is fine on weekdays. But weekends preferably, I'll be able to answer you guys. Or any questions or any other doubts. Okay, so Abhinav, can we wind it up?
Yeah, sure, Karthik. I think if everyone's doubt is done, I think we can wind it up.
Okay. Thank you, guys. It was a good session to help
Thank you
you.
so much, Karthik, for helping us out, and it was really nice session from you. And if people give more for, if they want to have on MS thing for the MS further workshop on MS, then we can also have it in the upcoming week sometime.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Yep. All right. Thank you so much. It
Yeah,
was really nice session.
yeah. Thank you, guys. Thanks for your time. See you all. All the best for your placements. Okay, bye.